Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. I'm really glad that all of you are able to attend. My name is Ray Pun. I am the chair of the International Relations for Reforma, the National Association to promote library and information services to Latinos and Spanish-speaking. And we are an ethnic affiliate of the American Library Association. And we're really pleased to have this webinar to have a joint meeting with Salaam. So the past president, Suzanne Schadl, will be speaking later. But first, I wanted to introduce our president, Madeline Pena, who is based in Los Angeles Public Library, and she's going to just give opening remarks about Reforma. So Madeline, take it away.
Hi, everyone. So Reforma is, the National Association to promote library information services to Latino and Spanish-speaking. Next slide, Ray, please. And founded in 1971 by Dr. Arnulfo Trejo, will be celebrating 50 years in 2021 with a conference and a celebration. We have 21 chapters, 20 standing committees, and next slide. And here where our chapters are located. So we're all over the United States and we have roughly 1,000 members. So what's Reforma doing right now? Next slide. Some of our projects include, this is our executive committee, and I thank them for their leadership and service to Reforma this year. So next slide. So we, this year, we supported our Día de los Niños, Día de los Libros, an initiative that Reforma has been part of from the beginning as a founding member. And this year we introduced a mini grant program to support programming in public and school libraries. So we'll be doing the same next year. And so late winter, early spring, you'll be hearing from us. And I encourage, if you have a library, to apply so you can get some help to bring performers and bring special activities to celebrate diversity in libraries. Another project we're working on, next slide, please. These were the winners of our DIA mini grants this year. So you see from Rochester, New York, Iowa, here in California, Florida, and New Jersey. And they presented wonderful programs for their communities. One of them was Pura Press celebration that they had in the Newell Public Library in New Jersey. And we'll be featuring some of these programs in our next spring summer newsletter, which will be published before ALA. So next slide, please. Noche de Cuentos will be having a mini grant program to support Noche de Cuentos programming in libraries. They'll be opening in June, and we will want these programs to happen during Hispanic Heritage Month. So stay tuned. We are working on updating nochedecuentos.org with more performers, storytellers from, so you can pick to feature programs in your library. And we will have a very special Noche de Cuentos event during ALA, hosted by Suzanne at the Hispanic Reading Room in the Library of Congress. And we'll have confirmed Elizabeth Acevedo, Yuyu Morales, and storyteller from Cuba, and it'll be a magnificent event. So please join us. It'll be Friday, June 21st, 7:30 to 9 p.m. So if you're attending ALA, please join us. Next slide, please. We'll be also hosting Reforma Institute during ALA. It'll be at the Mount Pleasant Library in Washington, D.C., and it's one-day professional development opportunity to, around the theme, the power of communication and how communication can help build leadership in libraries. So join us. It's a very affordable pre-conference type of event, and registration is still open. If you go to reforma.org/reforma-institute, you'll find all information about it. Next slide, please. Of course, our Children in Crisis project still active. We're bringing books to those kids and families who are, detained, waiting for their immigration process, asylum seeking requests to be processed. So we go to shelters, we go to housing facilities for immigrants, and we also work with legal organizations who are providing legal services to kids and families, such as KIND. So learn more about this on our website, reforma.org, and consider supporting this effort. We're bringing a little bit of joy in sad, desperate times to kids who really need it the most. Next slide, please. And then Pura Belpré, of course, we'll be celebrating the winners Sunday, June 23rd during ALA. So if you will be in Washington, D.C., please join us. Next slide. If you can find the whole agenda of Reforma at ALA at reforma.org/ALA Annual 19. So find out more about it and make plans to join us. Next slide. So what else with Reforma? So we have awards and scholarship. We just extended the call for application submissions for our Elizabeth Martinez Lifetime Achievement Award and the Dr. Anulfo Trejo Librarian of the Year Award. So if you know a Reformista who's doing a great job in their communities, promoting library information services to Latinos and Spanish speaking, and who also has been very active with Reforma, please consider submitting an application. Check our website, make sure you're receiving our emails to the listserv, and check out our newsletter, which is available on our website as well. Reforma also sponsors a member for the ALA Emerging Leaders Program. We have a very active mentoring program, volunteer opportunities, and of course, if you haven't joined Reforma, what are you waiting for? It's very affordable and it's very easy to join. Just go to reforma.org/join. And next slide. And if you need to contact us, here's president of reforma.org, and then incoming president Kenny Garcia will be taking over at starting in the end of ALA annual. So thank you so much. Join Reforma, volunteer, be a mentor, get mentored, and thank you so much to Salaam and to Suzanne for your support and for being here today. You have a great day, everyone.
Well, thank you, Madeline. Really appreciate you giving this great run through of what Reforma is doing. So let me stop sharing, and then I will let Suzanne upload her slides. In the meantime, I will also introduce Suzanne. So Suzanne Schadl is the past president of the Seminar on the Acquisition of Latin American Library Materials, also known as SALAM, an international organization charged with helping libraries develop their collection of Latin American research and teaching tools. She's currently the chief of the Hispanic Division in the Library of Congress, and she has more than 16 years of teaching and library experiences. And she was a curator of the Latin American collections at the University of New Mexico, where she managed the Latin American, Iberian, and U.S. Latino acquisitions related to library instruction and community outreach. So with that, I will let Suzanne give her presentation.
Thank you so much, Ray. I want to thank you and Madeline for inviting Salaam to participate in this webinar. And I should have consulted with Madeline before I presented, because there was a lot more information that she offered about Reforma than we have here for Salaam. But what I do want to do is just give people a portal to our organization and invite them, one, to check out our website, where I'll point out some of the kinds of things that Madeline pointed out for Reforma, and also invite you to our conference, which takes place just after ALA. So I hope to meet everybody here in Washington, D.C. at ALA, and then see them in Austin, Texas for our annual meeting. I have put together slides in Spanish, and I will speak in English. Puedo hablar en español también, si ustedes quieren. But hopefully everyone will be able to follow along in a sort of bilingual way here. So SALAM is a short name for the Seminar on the Acquisition of Latin American Library Materials. And we work in all formats. We'll see if I'm working. I want to give some indication of who we are, and what I'm providing here are two images. One that highlights some of our newer members and our scholarship winners. Like Reforma, we work quite hard to sustain scholarships and to bring rising librarians and new librarians into the fold and to learn from them in the process. So these images are recent, over the last maybe 4 years, scholarship winners. And you can see that we do a lot of things, or the people that are associated with us do a lot of things. In addition to being archivists and librarians and booksellers, we have a lot of interest in digital curation and metadata construction and other areas of making materials accessible. I'll go to the next one. What we do is and this comes from our mission statement, which I'll show you on our website, is we facilitate access to bibliographic information about, from, and on Latin America, the Caribbean, and the Iberian Peninsula, as well as Spanish and Portuguese-speaking communities in the United States. We develop collections in support of research, educational research of all of those areas. We cooperate to develop and to improve bibliographic services. We we sort of work together as a group to create sort of the best access to library materials for people who speak Spanish and Portuguese, and hopefully at some point other indigenous languages that are important within the regions that we support. We work with each other to share the problems that we experience as librarians working in area and ethnic studies, and also to determine solutions for the problems that we experience in librarianship and archives, where our work is concerned. And we love to make connections with colleagues, and we believe very strongly in the power of community. And for that reason, I'm happy to be here with you and Reforma, and also with our incoming president, Sarah Kachaluba, who's in the audience right now. Like Reforma, we have several ways that people can be active with us. One is through our listserv, which is private and requires membership. Another is through our Facebook page and through our Twitter page. And my next slides are just trying, as I said earlier, to give you a portal into some of the kinds of discussion and community that you might experience in Salaam. So this is a recent Facebook post getting at the sort of addition of other languages other than Spanish and Portuguese in the work that we do. And it's looking at the Tarahumara of northern Mexico, and of course the border region with the United States in the state of Chihuahua. And people have an opportunity to share information like this, but also to comment on that information in this Facebook page. And it is open to the public, and we invite anybody in the audience to participate. Also, we have a Twitter page, which I'm giving you just a few of the recent Twitter posts. And we have to thank Adan Griego, who we have in common with Reforma, for helping to get this page really going actively. And you can see a few different things there that will give you an indication of the breadth of work that we're doing. So we are looking at independent presses throughout Latin America and also in the United States at times, and trying to share that information so there's more accessibility to those materials. We are thinking about the connections and the work we do with work that others are doing to expand access and equity. And of course, we deal with historic materials and contemporary materials. The other way that you can find us, and I don't know if our pictures are in the way of the address there, but is through SALALM.org, which is our website. And I'm going to also try and open the website here in a second, so I can lead people to the conference through the website and maybe highlight some things that SALAM does in its organization. And another tool that we have for communication is our listserv, SALALM, which again is private. But I'm going to share a little bit about that here because I want to give people a sense of the community and how the community works. So our former membership chair, Adan Griego, again, who we have in common with Reforma, asks people to share their experience of their first Salaam. And what you have here on the screen are just a couple of, I don't know how many responses, but many, many responses from people in all different generations of Salaam talking about their experience. And I think what people find very quickly is it's a small enough organization to really find your place and to meet a lot of people. And it's a large enough organization to really sort of expand out in the profession. And because it is a community where we are talking and sometimes having difficult conversations, we all grow with the organization and learn from one another. So the next thing, much like Madeline, I'd like to invite people to join us for our next conference, which is in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas, from June 26th to June 29th. And we will be looking at cultural patrimony in Latin America and in the United States among the Latinx community. And we're talking about a horizontal dialogue rather than a vertical dialogue. And it is a very important topic for us to be sharing and something that I believe Reforma members could contribute to quite readily. You are most welcome to attend, and I'm sorry that's such a fuzzy slide. And since I am primarily a Portuguese speaker within the Latin American languages, I had to include a little bem-vindo there. But from here, let me take you into the computer and pull up. Can I share this, Ray?
Oh yeah, you can. If you switch
Okay.
the share thing out of your PowerPoint.
Okay, so do I just take my PowerPoint out?
Oh yeah, you would have to just share. Yeah, you took it out and then,
Okay.
yeah, share again.
Now, okay, let me share. Where is our screen? Sorry, folks. Oh, you're seeing too many things.
Oh no, we haven't seen anything.
You don't see anything yet. Okay, good.
Do you want the conference page or?
Well, yes. Well, actually, I just wanted to open up to the main page there. I'm there. Can you see it, everyone? No?
No, you have to click the green button again at the bottom,
Okay.
and then share that screen. Oh, we're seeing something. Yep.
Is it there?
Yep.
Okay. So in terms of projects that we're working on, this web page is the project that we've been working on for about a year and a half among some other projects. And I think that it is a really wonderful portal into the organization and everything that it does. Unfortunately, at the moment, it isn't also translated into Spanish and Portuguese. I hope that that is coming, but it will give you a very good sense of who we are and what we do. Of course, the first thing we want people to do is join, and we make that very affordable for students and new librarians. Then you have our mission and the organization. You can see that we have an annual conference, social media, publications, scholarships. There are a number of scholarships, going back to one of my first slides, that really invite people into the profession and enable us to work with new ideas all of the time. You can see that, I'm going to go back to the main page because it's prettier. You can see that we are highlighting our scholarship winners here on this page, along with the registration to our conference and some other issues. If you go down the page, you can see that we have a blog, in case you missed it, sharing out information that might be interesting to those within the organization. You can see that we share out information on jobs and internships, which I think is incredibly useful. And we also have numerous interviews with people who have recently joined SALAM or have attended the conferences and who are speaking on it. And then we share resources as a collective. So you can come in and you can find digital primary resources from all over the Americas and the Iberian Peninsula. We have our own repository of digital archives and a very historic and excellent collection of bibliographies that will lead people through the study of Latin America, Iberia, and the Hispanic U.S. over many, many decades. So that's a little bit about what we do, and I want to show you where to go to register for the conference. Registration is still open, and people are most welcome to attend. And you can find all kinds of information about the registration and the program and planning your visits. Now, anybody who's out there who is thinking they might attend, I do want to suggest that a large number of the individuals who participate in SALAM come from university and college libraries. We are welcoming to any librarian from anywhere. Those who come from college and university libraries sometimes find the opportunity to get yourself published, an important opportunity. So here, can you see my emails, everyone?
Yeah. You can close that if you want.
That's not what I meant to do. I did want to show you one email though, and that is, it is an opportunity to sort of put your name out there on our website with a publication, and the publication is really a report on one of the panels that's happening at SALAM. So if anybody out there is planning to attend and would like to write a report and have that report available online, they should contact Craig Schur or Nelson Santana and go to our online forum to sign up. And with that, I will just welcome any questions that anybody has. And thank you all.
Thank you, Suzanne. And if anyone wants to speak or type in the chat box, that's great. My question I will start off is, how many people usually attend this conference? And are they generally academic librarians, or do you have vendors and international folks?
Excellent. Generally speaking, we have anywhere between 200 and 300 attendees. We have academic librarians, we have government and public librarians, and we have vendors. Our vendors come from the United States and all over Latin America, the Caribbean, and the Iberian Peninsula. It is really an excellent opportunity to talk with people who are on the ground in different regions about what kinds of things are being published and how to get those kinds of things.
Oh, thanks for that. I think one of the things for Reforma, a lot of folks are interested in collection development. So this could be a sort of a purposeful way to be engaged. But also, is there, if I'm hearing this right, if there's a lot of vendors, there's an exhibit booth as well? Okay.
Yes, so we have an exhibit section, and those who are familiar with Reforma and those who are familiar with ALA would find our exhibit section to be incredibly manageable because it is a lot smaller and a lot more focused. So our exhibitors are all people who work with the kind of material that the librarians and archivists in SALAM would provide for the populations that they serve. So, you know, it's a very specific group that enables some pretty deep discussion about how best to do things. And we also have the opportunity to work with those vendors on more difficult topics, like how do we negotiate copyright in Mexico, for example, so that some materials might be made available online. And in many cases, our vendors are trying to think about how they can facilitate that for the librarians that they're working with in the United States.
Great. We have a question from Maribel Lopez. Will the seminar cover public library collections?
Will the seminar cover public library collections? Well, we will cover anything that our members engage in. So we are very open to multiple perspectives. Historically, I will say the presentations have tended more towards college and university libraries, but we are absolutely open to the intersection of public libraries and college libraries and university libraries. In fact, in the past several years, a lot of attention has been paid to educational outreach and to public outreach and to advocacy in the work that we do. And I think we in Salaam could learn a lot from public librarians in that regard. So I, for one, would love to see a lot more engagement between those who are serving college libraries or academic libraries and those who are serving public libraries in Salaam.
Great, thank you for that. I think Sarah is going to call in. She had a few things she wanted to jump in. But
of course.
In the meantime, if there are any other questions or if anyone want to ask a question, please feel free. Oh, still calling. Oh, Kristen, yes, please. If you want to unmute yourself or type.
Yes, right here. Thank you. Hello, Suzanne. My name is Kirsten. Hi.
Hi, Kirsten.
Hi. I was invited to attend the Roda Viva panel on Salaam on Saturday, but I just wrote back to Anne and I'm apologizing because I'm not being able to attend.
Oh, no.
Yes, I just moved to Maryland. I have a new position here, and I'll be attending the LAA. And it's just a back-to-back conference. And I have a program on Saturday, so I just asked her if there's an opportunity that I can participate online on the day before. I'll be happy to do that, and I'll be happy to send the presentation because I was very interested in pointing out how Salaam made the distinction of the title in English mentions heritage, while the title in Spanish points out to patrimony, patrimonio. And in Latin America, we have all these decolonial movements going on, which I think it's very important to point out, and that's what I wanted to point out in the conference. It's very different to address our collections within a heritage context and another one in a patrimony. So I was wondering why that translation was being made that way. Anyway, so my participation was based on a paper I had written in an academic journal in Costa Rica. And second, I wanted to thank you for pointing out the indigenous languages, something I'm very interested and concerned about, especially because we're celebrating El Año Internacional de las Lenguas Indígenas, by UNESCO. And as a children's librarian in a public library here in Maryland, I am having great difficulty trying to locate these publications in indigenous languages. So I'm going to look at the Salaam website to see whether I may have some access to some of these publications. I actually reached out to, I don't know if you're familiar with DOSIP, which is an organization based in Switzerland who has been collecting many resources regarding indigenous peoples all around the world. And they pointed out to some publications, but not to very many. So,
okay. I'm not familiar with them.
Sorry, can I jump in?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
You can hear me? Sorry, I had to call in on the phone because my audio wasn't working on my computer. So
I'll mute
this
myself.
is Sarah, and I'm the president-elect of Salaam. And I missed some of the conversation because I was trying to call in. But in terms of collection development, I just wanted to say that, and I'm sorry if this was said, one of the main things that we do at Salaam is that we meet in one-on-ones with the vendors. And that's actually how Salaam was founded, was to bring together the librarians and the vendors. So as Suzanne said, it is really great to personally meet the vendors. And they're also listed on the Salaam website. And in terms of thinking about Indigenous publications, this is something I collect in a lot at UCSD, but not for children's literature. But I know there are people that can get children's literature. So another thing you could do is also reach out to Suzanne or to me, and we could refer you to specific vendors who would look for that kind of material also.
That's great. I'm sorry, your name is?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Kachaluba.
Okay, Sarah,
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
And I wanted to say one other thing too. Another thing in Salaam in terms of collections is that we have regional groups. So I'm in Calafia, which is the California state group, and that's open to any Salaam member who's in the state. And then my co-chair is on this call, so I partly want to give him a shout out, David Rios at UC Riverside. And then we have another group that we manage also that's just for the UCs, and both deal a lot with collaborative collection development and resource sharing. So that's all.
Thanks, Sarah. So I think one of the things I started thinking is if this is maybe in the near future to do some sort of a peer mentoring, maybe matching folks from Reforma and Salaam, like to sort of like get to know each other and, like an informal get together kind of thing individually, if people were interested based on region and collection interests. That could be an idea. Oh, Madeline agrees. So I was just going to ask.
I agree.
Yeah. That's something,
Yeah,
we have a mentoring committee, we could probably have them, send out a survey and then match people, right?
Yes, absolutely. We have started a mentoring program in Salaam, which is several years in now, and it would be great to branch that out to work between academic and public librarians.
Yeah, and
between Salaam and Reforma.
Right. Yeah, and Yvette here says she's also from University of Maryland. She wanted to say hi. So.
Hi.
So is there any specific programs you wanted to highlight? I guess I'm wondering in terms of the conference that's coming up in July. Anything that really stands out that you think people would be curious to know more of?
I will just say real quickly, one of the, going back to Kirsten's comment and question, the Roda Viva is a very, very well attended event at Salaam, and it is largely because it's super quick presentations from all over the place about projects that are underway. And I use that as an answer here because I think one of the great things about Salaam is that there are so many of us with different kinds of responsibilities that you'll have a lot to choose from at Salaam. So, those who are interested in public outreach have their opportunities. Those who are interested in sort of educational innovations have their options. Those who are interested in archives and special collections have their options. Those who are interested in sort of philosophical issues of access have their options. So I would just like to point out that what makes Salaam work really well is that it is, as I said, it's a small enough community, but a broad enough community that you have the opportunity to really get in, become a colleague of multiple people, and learn together about the profession and support each other in the profession. It's, well, Sarah can also chime in here, but I've found it to be a very supportive organization that has really helped me learn in my career and also advance in my career. And somehow I quickly went from being a newbie to a veteran, and I think that's a great commentary for the way that the organization moves with its membership. And our membership is continually growing, and I think we really benefit from that growth.
Yeah, I would echo all of that. There are a lot of opportunities for new people. Roda Vida is one. It's very easy to join committees. Committees turn over. No one can chair more than one committee at a time, so there's often opportunities for new chairs. Right now I'm trying to get someone to chair something because I'm becoming the president. The rapporteurs are another opportunity to take the reports on different panels and sessions. And then it's also a good place to just learn from other people. Unofficially, I mean, Suzanne kind of said this, but I was at Florida State University for almost 10 years, and we had a smaller collections budget, and I learned a lot from older peers who really mentored me about how to work best with vendors to maximize the little bit of money that I had to kind of focus in different areas and have them select for me and look in different places. And I think the general theme of this year's conference also has broad appeal. It's very timely. There's a broad interest in it, which is issues of preservation of at-risk materials. So, for example, talking about indigenous languages and the use of digital technologies also, which are just developing so quickly, and I think well across different types of libraries in their applications. So I think there's going to be a lot there for anybody who is there.
Also for Kirsten, in terms of the problematic of translation, I'm not sure what went into that choice, because the program is largely up to those who are hosting the conference. But my suspicion is that Heritage is speaking very specifically to collections in the United States because of the strengths at the University of Texas. And cultural patrimony is also dealing most specifically with the relationship between our institutions in the United States and partners in other parts of the Americas, or in questions of who maintains custody of something. There's a lot of talk in our organization about sort of custodial, quote unquote, ownership of material from another group of people in many cases, or from another country in other cases. And I'm not sure that the language is all figured out, but my suspicion is that the difference in translation is sort of really dealing with the fact that we are trying to address collections in the United States among peoples in the U.S., as well as collections that come from outside of the United States in different ways.
Thank you, Suzanne. Yes, I'm sure that was the intention. And thank you for clarifying that for me. But it was very important to state that in Spanish, there is a great difference when you refer to a collection within patrimony and one when you relate it to heritage. Because of the long colonial structures that Latin America has had, it has, for example, within the patrimony context, completely overseen all the indigenous cultures, for example. And you can see that within not only our libraries, but our museums as well, for example. So, again, it was,
I appreciate the point, and I hope you are able to present.
I hope so too, but I have a program on Saturday at my library, and I'd love to go. I really would love to go, but again, I need to attend the ALA, and I really don't know if my institution would grant me permission to travel to Austin, right after Washington. So
right, I understand.
Yes. So if I can't do it at this moment, I'll do it at some other point. And again, I am very happy to share the information in the slide presentation. If someone else would like to take a look at it, even if I'm not there, I'll be very, very happy to do that.
Okay, great.
Great, thank you.
We'll try to facilitate.
Thank you again, Suzanne.
Is it generally the conference held around like that time after ALA? I kept thinking it was a little bit later.
Over the years, it has sort of moved in different directions. Generally speaking, it is a spring or summer conference, and part of the trick for planning Salaam is that we always switch hosting institutions. And it has to be a time that will work with the hosting institution, but also with the finances of getting it to the hosting institution. And we also are always working around book fairs throughout Latin America and the Iberian Peninsula. So in the spring, we work, generally speaking, around spring and summer. We're working around national book fairs in Argentina and Colombia and Peru. So the timing changes a little bit based on when those book fairs are planned, and based on the price of getting into and out of the place that is hosting the conference. So it's not always as backed up against ALA as it has been in the last 2 years, but it's sometimes you'll see it happen in mid-May. That was more common when I first started, but we sort of move around May and June.
Yeah,
sometimes July.
Oh, sometimes July. Yeah, I remember seeing last year it was in Mexico, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and how did that go?
I'm going to say that it was great, but I'm supposed to say that because I helped organize it. But I think it was a really nice opportunity for us. It's very hard to find hosts in Latin America, and it was a great thrill to have El Colegio de Mexico host us last year in Mexico City. I can't think of a better place to have our conference personally.
I have a question regarding your scholarships. When do they open? It's for young professionals, for students. So if you could talk a little bit more about that.
Oh yes. So the scholarships, depending on the kind of scholarship. So we have a conference attendance scholarship. We have some other fellowships for research that's being done. We have scholarships for new members. There are several different scholarships, and they open at different points throughout the year. Generally speaking, the calls go out on our listserv, the LALAL listserv, but also they pop up on that website as soon as they come available. And usually you'll see those in the fall at some point. I hate to give dates because I don't know that we have sort of solid dates, and Sarah can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you don't. Part of it is that we host at academic institutions, and part of it also depends on the local schedules. Graduation can interfere, etc. We're putting together a conference next year at UC Davis, and we're looking at, I think, the first week of June, because that's all that's going to work. So
Thanks for opening it.
Yeah.
As Ray is in there looking at our scholarships.
Right.
Yes. So here you can see the different scholarships. I'll talk real quickly about them. So a conference attendance scholarship, that is outreach to anyone who wants to check out SALAM and join. You can get some information about who should apply on the webpage. Our Enlace fellowships are for people trying to travel from Latin America. The Dan C. Hazen Fellowship is for people who are working on projects where a SALAM member is working with an institution elsewhere. It's a really great opportunity to promote partnerships across our institutions and to address some of the issues that Kirsten was bringing up in terms of recognition. In terms of recognition of resources. Our Jose Toribio Medina Award, which Sarah has won recently, is given to those who have published in Latin American studies or in Latin American librarianship.
Suzanne's also a winner. I should.
And you can see there the focus on the study of Latin America or sort of bibliography on Latin America. And then, so that is geared towards members who are actively publishing. And do you mind going there one more time, Ray? I can't remember what came after. No, up to the top, to the list of different scholarships. Oh, institutional collaborative initiatives, again, trying to deal with collaborations and reaching out to members of SALAM as well as non-members of SALAM. And then the final one is an honorary membership, which is for people who have served SALAM for many years. So one of the things that you can see in our scholarships and fellowships is we are trying to honor membership across the board, from the potential to the long-term members.
Do you have a count for international members?
Yeah, I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, do you have a number of count of for your international members, like outside
yes,
of the...
So for our international members, if you look at the membership information, you'll see that there is a differentiation for I think it's under About Us and membership. So one of the things that we are doing to attract international members is our Enlace fellowship. That is, I don't know, I can't remember how many years in the making. 30, is that correct, Sarah?
Yeah. Yeah, I think 30.
And that is bringing library and information professionals from Latin America to our conference wherever it is. That is one thing that we do to reach out internationally. Mm-hmm. Another thing that we do to reach out internationally is try to, in terms of membership, acknowledge that what people pay for membership in the United States is exorbitant for some of our members in Latin America, and we have tried to adjust our membership rates and our registration rates for that. We do the same for students. We recognize that students don't have the kind of income that information professionals who are established have, and we try to adjust our rates for them as well, in addition to providing scholarships for the conference.
I'm trying to think about how many foreign people usually attend. Obviously, there's more when we're in another country, when we're in Latin America, but I would say in the U.S., at least a fifth, maybe a quarter are from Latin America and Europe.
And more if you count the vendors.
Yeah, I was thinking about the vendors as well, but so probably at least a quarter. Right.
Oh, that's really great to know. For us in Reforma, folks who are outside international members, it's a free membership. So you're welcome to, if you are a Reforma member, just mention it to folks, they can join for free and be part of the group for us.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Great. Any other last questions or comments? I really appreciate this dialogue. It's really great hearing from Sarah and Suzanne about what they're doing and their take on Salaam.
I also have another question. And, Salaam is also an affiliate of the American Library Association, right? Do you host, do you have
yes,
events?
it is, and then again, it's not. And I'm a little confused on that issue, to be honest. We're definitely included when they reach out for booths, but for some reason, we have been less engaged with ALA than for instance, Reforma has been. And I'm not certain why that is.
I think it's partly because we focus so much on academic
Acquisitions.
Yeah, and I think it's also because we're so focused, because we have been historically more focused on external, like resources outside of the United States.
And collection development.
Yeah, and collection development outside of the United States. We have benefited significantly from the ALA's extension of participation in the Guadalajara Book Fair, which is the largest international book fair in Latin America. And just like a lot of Reforma members have been able to attend, thanks to ALA, a lot of Salaam members, and some of them also Reforma members, have been able to attend that conference. But we probably could be more involved with ALA.
I've benefited. I have attended the past 3 field Guadalajara Book Fair. Through ALA Field Pass program, and I really appreciate it. Dan Griego, he's been great. I remember my first time, it was so useful to have him, present before the book fair, and then the first day of the book fair to know what to expect, what to look for. So he's like a great resource, and he's been also collaborated with us, with Reforma, and also with the California Library Association's Latino Services Interest Group. We have presented on collection development using Adam's experience, working for his organization and, being part of SALAM and also Reforma. So it's been, we found ways to collaborate somehow because, collection development is just so important. Although you're focused on, for academic libraries, public librarians, can benefit.
There's been some good presentations at Salaam also, and I know there's at least one written piece by Bronwyn Maxon, one of our librarians in Salaam, about how to maximize book buying trips and book fairs as well, which I think is really helpful. And that kind of thing happens in Salaam, that people synthesize their experiences to share with others. And there's a lot of, even if you're not officially a mentor, sharing information between people about what kind of practical, this is what works. So with everything, instruction, collection development, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great.
Well, that sounds really great, and I again thank you all for joining. I think that might be it. If anyone has any last comments or questions, but in the meantime, please join me to thank Madeline, Suzanne, and Sarah for just giving us their wisdom and sharing best ways to engage with Reforma and Salaam. And hopefully, it seems like we have some ideas coming in. I have actually a bunch of ideas, so I'll check in with Madeline first. And before
I was going to say, continue the conversation. Please send emails and ideas so we can kind of figure out next steps. But I agree, this is a kind of overdue discussion, and appreciate very much Madeline and Suzanne's contributions. Suzanne did a great job providing an overview of Salaam. So.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Ray, for getting us together and for facilitating the conference. And thank you, Madeline, for reaching out to us. And thank you, Sarah, for popping in. And thanks to everybody in the audience for attending and for asking questions. And I would just echo Sarah in that we are most open to a conversation and to developing initiatives in the future. We want to grow.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks so
Thank you,
much. Thanks,
Suzanne.
Raymond, for putting it together.
And thank you,
Thank
Ray,
you.
and the International Relations Committee of Reforma.
Of course. Thanks, everyone. So
Gracias a todos.
Carol.
Gracias.
Thanks.
Que les vaya bien.
Adiós.
Bye.
Hasta muy poco.